What's going on, YouTube? I hope everybody is feeling amazing, feeling great, guys. We are here to talk Mets baseball off season live, man. This has been a great off season so far for the New York Mets to get a guy like Juan Soto. I am so happy that the Mets were able to land a free agent a caliber like a Juan Soto. I've been waiting for this, and it finally happened the other day. And wow, I mean, we got to talk about it, honestly. Juan Soto, a New York Met, an amazing moment for Met fans to, over Yankee fans, because when was the last time that got a free agent over the New York Yankees? It took some time. It's been some time. And it's been really probably a long time. Probably the last free agent maybe was Carlos Beltran, but I don't even think the Yankees wanted Carlos Beltran that much. So this is a rare time and a historic time for New York Met fans just to feel good, feel great. And I mean, if you're a New York Met fan right now, you got to be feeling good, because I'm feeling real good right now. Able to land a superstar, and I mean a superstar, a guaranteed Hall of Famer. Juan Soto is special. This guy is special. The Yankees have officially agreed to a 8-year deal with Max Fried. Max Fried, baby. Max Fried has agreed to a 8-year deal. I mean, good for the Yankees to get a guy like Max Fried. I feel like Max Fried is a good pitcher. I feel like when it comes to Max Fried, though, his health has been an issue. And I mean, we'll see what he does with the New York Yankees, but that is the breaking news with the Yankees. And listen, it is what it is. At this point, the Mets are going to have to make moves to get this team better. It doesn't stop after Soto. We got to keep it going. Yeah, Frankie, what's going on, Frankie? 8 years is a lot, right? 8 years? Man. I mean, how old is Max Fried? We are going to definitely talk about Crochet for sure, but let's see let me see how old Max Fried is real quick. Max Fried, is he like really young? Is he young? Let me see. He's 30 years old. So you're signing Max Fried for a 8-year deal, and he's 30 years old. Listen, that is a big deal for the New York Yankees. That is a big deal right there. Let's get into Stanley's comment right here. And Stanley is saying, who would you trade for Garrett Crochet? When it comes to Garrett Crochet, guys, Garrett Crochet is a special, guy right now. This guy is a high commodity. He really is. And the fact that he can beat, the fact that the Mets and the Yankees are in competition for this guy just shows how much he's a high commodity right now. And who would I give up for the Mets for Garrett Crochet? Well, we know that the White Sox reportedly has said they want position players, and the Mets have guys that they can offer. But what would be a great deal for what would be a great deal and can help the White Sox going forward? When it comes to the Mets farm system, the Mets have done a great job of replenishing their farm system, and their farm system has been good lately. You got Ryan Clifford, and then you got Jet Williams, you got Drew Gilbert, you got multiple free agents. Multiple prospects. You got Clifford, Jet Williams, but who am I willing to trade for? Who am I willing to? I know that they want position players, so maybe I'm going to make a trade. I'm going to put Beatty in the trade. If I can put Beatty in the trade, I would love for the Mets to, get rid of Beatty. And I feel like Beatty still has something attractive to him. People still like Brett Beatty because he's a young player. He's controllable. He has power. He has defensive, versatility. So when it comes to the New York Mets, I'm going to trade Beatty. I'm going to trade Jet Williams. I feel like Jet Williams is a guy that is going to help the White Sox. And maybe the Mets just got to get away from Jet Williams. I think when it comes to the Mets, you're going to have to give something to get this guy. And it's not going to take an easy trade. So Jet Williams, I'm going to put in the trade. I'm going to put Jet Williams. I'm going to put Beatty. And I'm going to throw in Ryan Clifford. I'm going to throw in Ryan Clifford in there. So I don't know if that's going to get the deal done. But maybe if we have to throw in another pitcher, it's going to have to be a Blade Tidwell. I'm not going to give up Brandon Sproat. I don't think that the Mets should give up Brandon Sproat. I really don't think that the Mets should give that guy up. He's their number one prospect right now when it comes to pitching. And the pitching, the Mets don't have enough pitching. So that's why, if this would be a decent trade for the Mets and a decent trade for the White Sox. But there's a lot of teams that are going to, the Yankees are going to go after him. The Red Sox are going after Garrett Crochet. It's not just the New York Mets. It's not. So when it comes to the Mets, that would be my deal right there. That would be my deal. What do you guys think about that deal? Would you do that deal? Are you comfortable giving Jet Williams up? Are you comfortable giving up a Ryan Clifford? Because when it comes to the New York Mets, Ryan Clifford, Jet Williams, these guys, these are prospects. These are, they're not guaranteed superstars or anything like that. They're prospects. And when you really want to go in and you want to win a championship, that is what you have to do. You have to give up some prospects and you have to make some trades at times. When it comes to the New York Mets, you saw the New York Mets make that big trade for Robinson Cano and Edwin Diaz and try to do something. And it went okay, but they didn't really win a championship. So that's the thing. The Mets need to capitalize on the Juan Soto move. They need to capitalize. And I know that David Stearns knows that. Reportedly, David Stearns has talked about, Roki Sasaki. Roki Sasaki has been an interest. It's a guy that, a lot of teams are going to be interested in. A lot of teams. And you got teams, you got interest in Crochet. You got interested in Sean Manaea. We'll see. The Mets could give up Beatty in that trade. Yeah, I feel like, Frankie, the Mets could give up Beatty in this trade. And Beatty is still attractive to teams because he's controllable. He's young. He can play different positions. Victor, what's going on? Victor, how we feeling, baby? Let's go Mets. How are we feeling? And Frankie, how we feeling? Stanley, how we feeling? Let's see. What is the Yankees? What are they paying him? Let's see. The Yankees are paying him 8 years, $218 million. That's what they paid Max Fried. It is what it is at this point. The Yankees had to make a move. The Yankees had to make a move after losing Juan Soto. You have to make a move to capitalize and do something to keep your fan base a little excited, because if they didn't do anything, then that definitely they would have been, on the hot seat. Brian Cashman would have been on the hot seat. Howe would have been on the hot seat. So when it comes to the New York Yankees, they're going to have to make more moves. They're going to have to make this team better and replace Juan Soto. And I don't know if they're going to be able to do that, but there's been interest in Christian Walker. There's been interest in multiple players. We'll see. But we are here to talk about, I'm here to talk about the Mets, but I'm here to also report on MLB news in general. So I feel good about what David Stearns said recently in the press conference for SNY. He said basically, Roki Sasaki, they're going to give it a try. They're going to try to get him. And I think Roki Sasaki would be awesome in the rotation for the New York Mets. Just imagine Kodai Senga, Roki Sasaki, and, maybe a Sean Manaea or maybe a Garrett Crochet. When it comes to the Mets, you have to make this team better. This is something you have to do. So we'll see what the Mets do, but I am excited about what I am seeing from the New York Mets so far. Frankie saying that could be a good trade. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind it. So let me see here. Yeah, Max Fried, $218 million, man. Wow. We'll see what happens, but man, if there's a guy that I want in free agency right now, after obviously you need to focus on pitching. You need to focus on pitching. But when it comes to the New York Mets, just imagine if they could get a guy like Jock Peterson. That will help out this lineup even more, make this lineup even deeper. But what are your guys' feeling about Alonso? I know Pete Alonso has been a discussion, has been talked about. What does Juan Soto's contract do for a guy like Pete Alonso? Do you want Pete Alonso back? Me personally, and I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't know if I want this guy back. I don't know if I want Pete Alonso back. I think Pete Alonso, was an awesome Met, but I feel like his numbers are going down year by year. He's not going to age well, in my opinion, and I just don't really feel that Pete Alonso is going to be a Met in 2025. I'm not feeling it. I don't think David Stearns has any really real commitment to this situation with Pete Alonso. But what I will say is Pete Alonso, if he wants to become a Met and we could get him on a friendly deal, on a friendly team deal, then why not? Just do a deal. I would say maybe a 3-year deal, 4-year deal at best. I'm not signing Pete Alonso for 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. You're not going to get that. And if you're going to get that, you're going to get that in another team, because I don't want Pete Alonso for the next 7 years, 8 years. I'm not a fan of that. I am really not a fan of that. But the Mets, we know that there's interest in Roki Sasaki. There's interest in Garrett Crochet. There's interest in Sean Manaea. So definitely Stearns is not done, guys. Stearns is not done. He's going to focus on making this team better. He's going to try to get some pitching. I don't think that he's done. And I think from what David Stearns has said recently, and good news for you guys. Good news. If you're a Ronnie Mauricio fan, he has started baseball activities. I am so excited about Ronnie Mauricio. I truly can't wait for Ronnie Mauricio to be back in a Met uniform, healthy, and contributing to this great team. I really think Ronnie Mauricio is going to make this team special even more. You're going to have so much young talent. And this is why that Garrett Crochet trade scares me just a little bit, because I really don't want Ronnie Mauricio to be traded or Acuna to be traded. And maybe you might have to trade Acuna, but I feel like Acuna and Mauricio are going to be a big part of this team, and Drew Gilbert. So when it comes to the Mets, I just want this team to get better. That's all I want, this team to get better. And let's hope they don't trade my boy Ronnie Mauricio. I don't want my boy Ronnie Mauricio traded. Stanley is saying to trade Jeff McNeil. Trade Jeff McNeil. Listen, I personally feel that Jeff McNeil doesn't have a real place on this team going forward. When you have guys like Ronnie Mauricio, like Acuna, like a Beatty, if you want to still have him in the roster, like a Drew Gilbert, there's not really a lot of a place for Jeff McNeil. But what I think Stearns doesn't want to give up is the fact that Jeff McNeil, he brings that defensive, versatility. That is a big, big thing when it comes to Jeff McNeil. He's been batting champion in 2022. So it's not like he doesn't have talent, but I feel personally this guy, Jeff McNeil, is just not the right fit going forward for the New York Mets. And the New York Mets, Stearns has said he's not going to try to trade Jeff McNeil. That doesn't mean that maybe a trade they won't put Jeff McNeil in the deal, but right now they're not actively looking for a Jeff McNeil trade. But man, I just want this team to get better. I want the New York Mets to get better, and if this is a way they can get better, then why not? Just why not? Honestly. So I am excited about this team future. Let's not get, I know a lot of Met fans are concerned about the Juan Soto deal, that it's not official yet or none of that. There's no reason to be concerned. No reason to be concerned. Willy Adames just got signed officially, and that was and he reportedly signed 3 or 4 days ago. So let's not be concerned about that situation when it comes to Juan Soto, because Juan Soto is going to be a New York Met. There's nothing stopping him from being a New York Met. I'm sure he's going to pass his physical. I'm sure he's going to be fine. And I'm sure he's going to be a New York Met, hopefully, for the next 5 years. So we'll see what happens. But David Stearns and Steve Cohen are not done. They're going to make this team better. They're going to do their best to make this team better. And they know the fact that they got Juan Soto now, you have to go all in. You can't, this is not like the fact that we're I know people want to say we're little brother to the New York Yankees. You have to go all in. you showed that you can get a big free agent, one of the biggest free agents in time, honestly, in history, Juan Soto over the Yankees. Now is the time to go all in. Go get Garrett Crochet. Whatever, listen, if you can get Garrett Crochet, then go get him. Go get him. If you can get Sean Manaea, go get him. I feel like Sean Manaea is going to get better and better. I really like what Sean Manaea did for the Mets in 2024. I feel like he just found it. He found it. He found his pitch delivery, and he was just getting better and better. And I feel like he can be a really good pitcher for the Mets in the coming years. He is a little older, and that is something that you have to take in account when it comes to Sean Manaea. But I really do like the situation when it comes to the Mets possibly getting a real starting pitcher and not a guy like Frankie Montas and Clay Holmes, like a real starting pitcher. A Walker Buehler. There's been interest in Walker Buehler as well. There's been interest in Sean Manaea. There's been interest in Garrett Crochet. And Sasaki is now going to be an interesting wrinkle to this situation with the Mets and the Yankees. This might be another, free agent battle that Steve Cohen has to win. At the end of the day, and I know Roki Sasaki has said, he doesn't prefer. His agent said he doesn't prefer to play on the West Coast. But when it comes to these Japanese players, I think, Shohei Ohtani, Yamamoto, they're going to try to get their boy, I'm sure, to the Dodgers. So I don't know if I really trust the Sasaki. I don't know if he's going to want to come to New York. I don't know if he's going to want to, be in that big market. I don't know. But what I will say is that it is an interesting situation. It is. So the Mets are not done. The Mets are not done. And, but this, let's see what else has happened. So David Stearns reportedly has said that the Mets expect Kodai Senga to have a normal, healthy offseason and for him to be their opening day starter. That is what David Stearns has said. So we'll see what Kodai Senga, I know his health has been an issue, but to me, Kodai Senga is a big part of this team going forward with this foundation, with these guys. We have Kodai Senga now up to 2027. We really do. Because he didn't hit that innings limit, and now he didn't hit that innings limit, and now we have Kodai Senga to 2027. So great for the Mets, and I'm happy for that. Stanley said the Mets need starting pitching. Yeah, the Mets need starting pitching. I think that the Mets definitely, you need starting pitching. It's something that is a necessary need. And when it comes to the Mets, and David Stearns has said this is not like a necessary, yeah. He said it's not that necessary, but that's what David Stearns is going to say. He's not going to say that he's going to go after all the free agents, all the pitchers. Like, he's not going to say that. But what I will not expect is David Stearns to go after Corbin Burns. I don't expect for him to go after the top starting pitcher in the market. I really don't expect that. I just don't think that David Stearns is really ever going to go after that top pitching guy. And it kind of is what it is. David Stearns is just a guy that likes to get pitching in a not expensive way. And we'll see at the end of the day what happens, whether the Mets get multiple pitchers, whether they trade for a guy like Garrett Crochet, whether they trade for a guy like Luis Castillo. This is a guy we can't forget, guys. The Seattle Mariners are also, they have said that reportedly, they've been looking at shopping Luis Castillo. Now, I don't know if there's any truth to that report, but when it comes to the Mets, I think Luis Castillo or Garrett Crochet should be someone you should be interested in. I like Luis Castillo. I think he's a good pitcher. I think he's a really good pitcher. And I think Garrett Crochet is a really, really good pitch, really good strikeout pitcher. I think I need to see more from Garrett Crochet to really say that he's going to be an elite starter. But at the end of the day, I just want this team to get better. That is all we want. Make this team get better. Let's hope that the Mets get better. That's it. And the Mets, according to the Mets are optimistic about a Sean Manaea reunion. I think Sean Manaea is a guy that really hit home with the New York Mets. I think he really enjoyed it there. And Luis Severino, of course, he enjoyed it there, but I just don't think that Luis Severino was going to stay with the Mets. And he got his contract with the A's. Apparently, the A's have offered a contract to Sean Manaea as well, but he didn't take it. So Sean Manaea wants to play for a contender. He wants to play for a better team. He doesn't want to just get a contract from the A's or a contract from the Rockies or that type of stuff. Like, he wants to have play with a winning contender, play with someone that's good. So we will see what happens with Sean Manaea, but I really do like Sean Manaea. I really felt like he found his delivery. He found what he needed to do. And yeah, I really do like Sean Manaea. I think Sean Manaea is a good pitcher, and he pitched pretty good in the postseason. We'll see what happens. I don't think David Stearns is done. I think that there's more coming. And apparently David Stearns canceled his appearance with MLB Network today. So it seems like he's busy. The winter meetings are busy, and there's obviously a lot of conversations that are taking place in these winter meetings in this week. Stanley said, could the Yankees sign Alonso? Reportedly, I've heard that the Yankees are not that interested in Pete Alonso. And I just don't feel Pete Alonso fits the New York Yankees because he's a right-handed bat. If he was a left-handed bat, it would be a different story. But the fact that the Yankees are already right-handed heavy when it comes to Stanton, when it comes to Judge, when it comes to Volpe, when it comes to DJ LeMahieu, not even Gleyber Torres anymore. Gleyber Torres is done with the New York Yankees. But they have a lot of right-handed guys and not enough left-handed hitters. So I don't feel Pete Alonso is a fit for the New York Yankees. I really don't. And reportedly, it seems to be he's not a fit. Or they don't want him. They're not as interested in Pete Alonso. So I don't feel that Pete Alonso is going to go to that team. I think Pete Alonso, he wants to come back to the Mets. I think he wants to come back to the Mets. Obviously, you saw the New York Mets and get Juan Soto reportedly. So I think Alonso is going to want to come back. He's going to want to come back to the Mets. Do I want Pete Alonso back? I honestly don't know. I think this team will be better off without Alonso. I really do. I really do. I think maybe, yeah, we'll see. We will see, man. But hopefully everybody's feeling good. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch me on this, this Tuesday night. I'm feeling really good. We got the winter meetings to talk about the winter meetings. Max Fried has reportedly signed with the New York Yankees, a 8-year deal, $218 million. That is a crazy, crazy deal for Max Fried, a 30-year-old pitcher. But when it comes to pitching is expensive this offseason, and it looks like it. They definitely, it looks like it's going to be very, very expensive. And Sean Manaea is going to want maybe a 3 to 4 year deal, $100 million around there. And is he going to get it? Maybe he's going to get $80 million. I don't know, but I don't see him getting $200 million. No. Yeah, that's a crazy contract right there, man. That's a crazy 8 years, 218 million, man. Wow. But as a Met fan, man, we're feeling good. We are feeling good. Soto is going to be a Met. It's crazy the fact that we got Juan Soto. Like it just shows that Steve Cohen is, really about this. He really, really is the guy that you want in charge. This guy is your owner. This guy is our owner. He's the Mets owner, and he's done everything that he can. He's doing everything that he can for the Mets to win. He's trying to get the Mets to win, and he's using his money. And finally, Soto's going to be a Met, and this is like historic. It's historic, but there's more that has to be done. You have to. Reportedly, the Mets are interested in Jonathan. What's it called? The Yankees bullpen pitcher. What's it called? What's his name? His name is. Thinking Jonathan. Yeah. Yeah, when it comes to the Mets, man, the Mets got to get better. They're interested what's it, Loziaga? What's his name, man? Jonathan. Is it Jonathan? Yeah, Jonathan Lu. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce his name, honestly. But yeah, the Mets are interested in Sean Manaea. The Mets are interested in Garrett Crochet. Mets are interested in Roki Sasaki. So that's great. That's really great. I feel like the Mets, they're not stopping. And that is something that, that the Mets need pitching. The Mets know that they need pitching. And you got to get better. And if you can get Roki Sasaki, a guy that's young, controllable, why not? At the end of the day, why not? So, yeah. But let me know how you guys are feeling. How are you feeling about the Mets so far? How are you feeling about the Soto contract? How are you guys feeling about a potential trade for a Garrett Crochet or a Luis Castillo? I want to hear from you guys because you guys are definitely awesome, and I love hearing from you guys. And yeah, I really do. Oh, breaking news. The Toronto Blue Jays are finalizing on a trade to acquire a three-time gold gloving winning second baseman Andres Jimenez from the Guardians. Wow. So it's crazy to see the fact that Ahmed Rosario, Andres Jimenez, these guys, when they were traded for Lindor, it's crazy to see what they've become, what they've been doing. And at the end of the day, that is a huge trade right there. Cleveland trading trading Andres Jimenez. That kind of sucks for a guy like Jose Ramirez, who I feel like Jose Ramirez is a guy that is a hard worker. He's one of the best hitters, and I want Jose Ramirez to get some type of success, with his team. But I guess the Guardians are trading away Andres Jimenez, which is probably not a good sign for them winning. So yeah. Cohen is willing to Stanley said Cohen is willing to pay for quality players, unlike the Wilpons. Yeah, the Wilpons, like you were never gonna get Juan Soto. That was never gonna happen. The Wilpons were never gonna get you Juan Soto. And the fact that now the Mets have this opportunity, it's really beautiful, honestly. It's something that you have to just enjoy as a New York Met fan, because this is something that is historic. Getting a free agent over the New York Yankees was completely first of all shocking. It was shocking to the industry, but it was crazy. It was just crazy. I don't know, like I know that Steve Cohen was interested and the Mets were interested in Juan Soto and they were going to compete for him. But I just felt that the Yankees and their pinstripes and their legacy was going to be enough for Juan Soto to go back to them, but apparently it wasn't. It wasn't. And the money was what talked. The money, the guaranteed money, which Juan Soto wanted, which the Dodgers offered money as well, but not enough. The Red Sox wanted Juan Soto, but they couldn't give that they weren't willing to give enough of that money. So when it comes to the Mets have to get better. After this Juan Soto deal, just get better. Good news is Ronnie Mauricio has started baseball activities, and hopefully he will be healthy, to start the season. We will see. But you got Jeff McNeil. You got Brett Beatty. You got, Jet Williams. I really don't feel like he's going to make the roster in the major league roster. You got Luis Angel Acuna. Angel Acuna has been very, very impressive in the Venezuelan league. Very, very impressive. So when it comes to the Mets have a lot of talent. There's foundation. Mark Vientos had an amazing 2024, man. Amazing 2024. He was one of the best hitters in the postseason, and a guy that's not that old. And the Mets have him controllable. So I really do feel good about the Mets' future. And I felt Juan Soto felt as well that the Mets have a bright future. He saw that the owner, Steve Cohen, is willing to go ways to get players. And I felt that the Mets, they tried to spend for Max Scherzer. They tried to spend for Verlander. I just didn't feel that was the winning mentality when it comes to the Mets, that was going to get them the big win, the big, championship. I just didn't feel that Verlander or Max Scherzer was really going to win them a championship. These guys were close to 40 years old. So when it comes to the Mets getting a 26-year-old stud, guaranteed, probably Hall of Famer, I mean, it's something that is special. And the Mets, you got to love that. You honestly have to love that. So I'm really, really excited, really excited about the Mets' future. And how can you not be, honestly? How can you really not be? They also have that international guy, one of the best international prospects, Elian Pena. That's a guy that is definitely going to be impressive, and a guy that he's one of the best international prospects. So the Mets are doing everything that they can to get better. Now, pitching is something that they need, and they know that. You got Brandon Sproat. He's the first guy, really. He's probably your best pitcher, draft wise. So we will see, man. But I'm really happy with what the Mets have done this offseason. I wasn't exactly excited about Frankie Montas or excited about the Clay Holmes deal, but I feel like the Clay Holmes deal could work for the Mets. And I trust whatever David Stearns does, but getting Juan Soto was amazing. It was amazing. Hands down, the best move you can make this offseason. Really. And now you have to go all in. Now you have to make a trade for Garrett Crochet. Try to get him. Or you make a trade for Luis Castillo. I really feel that Garrett Crochet is going to be a really good pitcher if he comes to the Mets. So, man, but it's an exciting time to be a baseball fan. David Stearns. Did I get the name right? Did I get the name wrong? Did I put the name wrong? David Stearns. Maybe I put the name wrong, but it's David Stearns. That's who it is. I trust Stearns in the yeah, I feel like, why not trust the process? Like, you got us to the NLCS, and that was huge. That was big. That is something that I feel the Mets in 2024, you never expected the Mets to make the playoffs and go all the way to the NLCS and face the Dodgers. Like, I never expected it. I don't know if you guys expected it, but I definitely never expected that to happen. The Fish Hobblist said, sign Burns. Listen, I don't feel personally that the Mets are going to sign Corbin Burns, because the fact that David Stearns doesn't really like to go out and sign top pitching, like a guy like that, I don't feel that they're going to try to go for Corbin Burnes. And I think Corbin Burnes is going to cost a lot of money. Like, you looked at what the contract, I don't know if you heard, but Max Fried and the Yankees have, agreed to a deal for 8 years, $218 million. When it comes to Corbin Burnes, he's going to get a big deal, man. Corbin Burnes, if Max Fried is getting an 8-year deal for $218 million, what is Corbin Burnes going to get? Because Corbin Burnes is your top guy. He's your top guy in the market. And I feel that, yeah, I agree, though. I want to trade for Garrett Crochet. I really do feel that Garrett Crochet is a guy that the Mets are very, very interested in, but a lot of teams are very, very interested in because he is going to be a high commodity. And he apparently, reportedly, they're saying he could be traded in this week. The White Sox could trade him this week, and that is great news for whoever gets him. Great news. But, I mean, we will see at the end of the day what happens, but we need more. We need more. We have the minor league talent to do it, but who are you willing to trade? Who are you willing to trade to get Garrett Crochet? Me personally, I don't want to trade Ronnie Mauricio, and I don't want to trade Acuna. Those are two guys I don't want to trade. Now, maybe you might have to trade Acuna. I don't want to trade Mauricio. I feel like I really don't want to trade him, but we will see. I think Beatty, Drew Gilbert. Okay, so you're saying Drew Gilbert is a guy that could be traded. Man, Drew Gilbert is a guy that I really want to see as a New York Met, man. I really do. I feel like the Mets, but it is what it is. You're going to have to give up talent to get this guy. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. So we will see. But what I will say is they do have the talent. They do have the talent to get them. If they really want to trade these guys, you got to give up something to get something. And will they trade a Jet Williams? Will they trade a Drew Gilbert? Will they trade an Acuna? Will they trade a Ryan Clifford? Will they trade a Brandon Sproat? I feel that you got to give something to get something. So it's going to be tough. But what I will say is we will see. At the end of the day, we will see. Keep two prospects. We like Acuna and we like Jet. Okay, so you like Jet and you like Acuna. I like Jet, I like Acuna, and I like Mauricio. Yamid is saying if the Mets don't trade Acuna, he needs to be in the bigs as the best utility player they ever had. If he's going to be in the bigs, if he's going to be in the major leagues, I want him starting. I don't want him being your utility player. If he's going to be in the major leagues, he better be starting. I want him to be a part of it. And what does that do for Mauricio? What does that do for Vientos? Vientos has put his name on the mark. Vientos is going to be your guy for, some time. He's put his name on the mark for, the foundation with the Mets. Me personally, I feel that Ronnie Mauricio is a special player. He has so much talent. He's going to be very, very special, in my opinion. I think he has superstar potential. That is what I feel. And we will see. We will see. So you got to give something to get something. But will they trade an Acuna? Will they trade a Jet? Will they trade a Ryan Clifford? Exactly. Second base, he goes. Yeah. I feel personally that Jeff McNeil is not going to be a big, crazy part of the Mets in 2025, or he shouldn't be, because now you have so many, infielders, and you don't really need Jeff McNeil as much as you really thought. I don't think Jeff McNeil is a good player for this clubhouse. I don't feel that Jeff McNeil is really that great of a player anymore. And, this is going to be your last year with Jeff McNeil. I think, this is his last year, I believe, with Jeff McNeil in the contract with the Mets. So, because they did sign him to an extension, and it was for 3 or 2 more years. Don't forget Christian Scott. Well, I'll tell you this. you can forget Christian Scott because Christian Scott is not going to be pitching in 2025. He's not going to be pitching in 2025. He had a surgery, and he's not going to be pitching for the Mets in 2025, and it sucks. But Christian Scott, to me, has a lot to work on. Christian Scott, his breaking pitches needs help. They need to find a way that his breaking pitches, can go off his fastball. I like Christian Scott. I think he's a young kid. I think he's a guy that loves, baseball. He wants to be the best. But to me, his breaking pitches is just not enough. So Christian Scott, I want to see, when he becomes healthy and he is back in a Met uniform, I want to see him healthy. And Sproat, I think Brandon Sproat is a guy, he's your number one right now. He's your number one pitcher when it comes to prospects for the Mets. And Brandon Sproat, to me, is going to be your next big starter that's going to make that big jump. When will he make that big jump? I don't know, because he did struggle in AAA when he got promoted after AA, after dominating AA. So will it take a full year for Brandon Sproat, or will the Mets bring him up in 2025 as maybe a bullpen pitcher, or after the trade deadline, a big acquisition? We will see. But you got to make this team better. And I hope that Brandon Sproat really becomes that pitcher that we want him to become. Is McGill a starter or a reliever? Well, Stanley, what I will tell you is David Stearns reportedly has said that he's going to be ready for whatever. He's going to be stretched out. And just like Jose Butto, these guys, Jose Butto, Tyler McGill, these guys are going to be stretched out, just in case you want to use them as a starter or just in case you want to use them as a bullpen piece. But right now, Tyler McGill is seen as a starter. Now, Jose Butto is seen as a possible reliever or starter. But David Stearns has said they want him to be stretched out just in case. Whatever happens, whatever they decide on. I like Jose Butto. I think he has really good starting potential, but his control is something that I don't love, his control. And if you're a starting pitcher, you got to have good control. And Jose Butto, he doesn't have that great control, but he has a lot of movement on his pitches. McNeil is your second baseman. His contract dictates that. It doesn't really, though. I mean, to me, I don't want Jeff McNeil as my second baseman in 2025. I don't. I really don't. I hope that that's not the case. But what I will say is to get better, like make this team get better. That is something that I want for the Mets. Just get better. Make 2025 a big, big year for the New York Mets, because you're going to have competition. You're going to have the Braves. You're going to have the Phillies. You're going to have the Brewers. You're going to have the Dodgers. This is a lot of competition. And the Dodgers are seen as obviously the favorite to win the NLCS right now. Of course they are, because the talent they have is insane. But what I will say is getting Juan Soto makes the Mets so much better offensively, but you have to do more work. You can't stop here. And David Stearns and Steve Cohen knows that. They know they can't stop. And if they do, then Stanley is saying Acuna should be your starting second baseman. In my opinion, if Ronnie Mauricio is healthy, I would love him to be your second baseman. But what I will say is Acuna is a good fielder, man. I like his arm. I like what he brings to the table. And the Mets, they need to get a big pitcher. Is it Garrett Crochet? Is it Luis Castillo? Is it Walker Buehler? There's been talk about a Walker Buehler, a 1-year deal, 2-year deal, possible for Walker Buehler with a high AAV. Listen, I think Walker Buehler for a 1-year deal or 2-year deal would be good. I like that. I don't hate that at all. Well, yeah. So David Stearns is having discussions. Obviously, it's the winter meetings. So I was just looking at a SNY, video there. David Stearns, he's having discussions. Is he willing to make that big trade? Do the White Sox really want these prospects from the Mets? Like, who are they really interested in? Or do other teams have better prospects to give them? Because we got the Red Sox that are interested, you got the Yankees interested, and the Yankees have good prospects as well. They got Spencer Jones, they got Jason Dominguez, they got multiple, infielders. They got a lot of talent. When it comes to the Mets and the Yankees, there's definitely been talked about the Mets having the best or the better, farm system right now. Is that the case? Do you trade a guy? Maybe do you trade Carson Bench, the guy that you just drafted in 2024? Do you trade him, Carson Bench, an outfielder? The guy that's a very, very impressive draft pick so far. I think that the Mets, we will see. We will see. If you are getting Crochet, your MLB ready prospects will go, and Acuna is the first one they will ask for. Yeah, 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 yeah. I get it. I get it. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I just yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Like I like Acuna. I like Mauricio. I like a lot of the talent we have. I really do like Drew Gilbert. I do like Jet Williams. But you got to give something to get something. Now, is David Stearns willing to part ways with an Acuna, with a prospect, a caliber of Acuna, or I hate to say it, a Mauricio, but what I will hope is that Mauricio is hurt, and he doesn't have a lot of trade value right now. And that's what I will hope, that they don't trade him. I don't want Mauricio traded at all. Now, Acuna, I don't want Acuna traded either. But that's the thing. When it comes to me, I believe in building, your prospects and your prospects being a big part of your foundation. So to me, I personally would love to trade Garrett Crochet, but I'm going to trade a Jet Williams. I'm going to trade a Ryan Clifford. I'm going to trade guys like that. And I'm not going to make. I don't want to trade a Drew Gilbert. And Drew Gilbert is probably a guy that they want, Drew Gilbert, or they want Acuna, but man, it sucks. Honestly, it sucks. Like to part ways with these prospects, because prospects are not guaranteed. They're just prospects. Like, you don't know what they're going to become. But what I will say is, I am very, very excited about the Mets' future, and I just don't want them to hurt their future. But because there's no guarantee that you win a championship. Like, there's no guarantee. Because if you get Garrett Crochet and you get Sasaki, you make your team a lot better, I'm sure, pitching wise. And you got Juan Soto, and maybe you bring back Alonso, or maybe you sign Jock Peterson or Christian Walker or whatever. But what I will say is, the Mets, I know that they want to win now. So I won't be surprised if there is a trade in the winter meetings, or is there's a trade in the offseason. I won't be surprised. What's going on? That damn good. Mets World Series champion 2025. I would love that. I would love that, bro. I would love to see that. I would love to. I think the Mets are, in a special place right now. You just got a free agent caliber. You just got Juan Soto. And Juan Soto is going to be a Hall of Famer. He got 765 million for 15 years. I mean, what a big deal for Juan Soto. So great for him. But man, there needs to be a lot more that the Mets need to do to win. They got to do a lot more. But what I'm gonna start doing is I'm going to be doing more live streams, but I'm definitely going to be doing some call-ins. I don't know if you guys are interested in calling in and, I'm asking some questions, but, or you guys prefer to, they're looking into adding Vladdy. Well, listen, that is probably the only way that I would trade a Ronnie Mauricio or Acuna. That is the only way to get Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That is the only way that I would make a trade like that. And because Vladdy is a special player, man. Anybody who gets Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is going to be it's going to be lovely, man. It's going to be lovely. What other pitchers do the Mets go after? Well, the Mets are interested, or reportedly they've been interested in Nathan Eovaldi. They've been interested in Garrett Crochet, as you see. They've been interested in Sean Manaea, a reunion with Sean Manaea. They're interested in also going after Sasaki. It seems like they're going to put their best foot forward and try to get Sasaki. Now, I don't know exactly what's going to happen with that, but what I will say is Sasaki is probably going to be ending up a Dodger. I don't see him going to the Mets or the Yankees, but if that happens, I would love for Sasaki to go to the Mets. And if he does, you're going to get a young starter and a guy that is young. And that is something that the Mets need. They need a young guy and a starter like a Sasaki. Because Sasaki is younger than Yamamoto. Sasaki is younger than Shohei Ohtani. Sasaki's a young guy. With Soto now, Gilbert has no right field to play. So to trade him is what you have to do if you get Crochet. Well, why you can't play him at center field? Why can't you play him at center field? Why you can't play Drew Gilbert at center field or left field? To me, I think that Drew Gilbert can play center field and you have Brandon Nimmo play left field. That's what I would do. So I think if they don't trade Drew Gilbert, he has a place on this team. He has a place to play. You can have him as your center fielder. He has a better arm than Brandon Nimmo. He has a better arm. He has a pretty good speed as well. I like Drew Gilbert. I think he's a good player. And okay, you're gonna say I think they want Siri as City, Jose Siri, but is Siri going to be a major league player ready? Is he going to be your guy? You're going to start him for 140 games? Are you going to start Jose Siri? Because let's look at Jose Siri's numbers. Jose Siri, his numbers. He batted 187, guy. Batted 187. 187, 47 RBIs. I don't think that he's a player that you're going to be starting all the time. I think he's going to be like a guy that you bring in, maybe like a Tyrone Taylor, those type of guys. But I don't see him starting and making 140 starts for the Mets. I really don't see that. But Vlad Alvarez Soto apparently have a connection and are friends. I love that. They could probably start the season with Siri and Gilbert ends up taking the job. Yeah, listen, Drew Gilbert, I hope he takes the job. Jose Siri is not that good. He's not that good. He's a guy that swing and miss. He likes to, he strikes out a lot. He has power. It's not like he doesn't have power. He hit 18 home runs. 47 RBIs. He had 402 at-bats on the season. So what I will say is Jose Siri is a guy that I get why the Mets got him, but the Mets didn't get him to start 140 games, to start 150 games. They didn't get him to be their starting center fielder in 2025. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't think he's good enough to stay as your center fielder. Like defensively, he's great. Defensively, he's like a Harrison Bader, but probably Harrison Bader has better numbers. Looks like they like Williams more as a center fielder. Well, Jet Williams to me, and maybe this goes for Drew Gilbert as well, they're not going to be a part of the 2025 Mets because of their injury. They're, they in AAA they didn't have a lot of AAA time. Drew Gilbert was injured most of the season. Jet Williams had that wrist injury, then he had to have wrist surgery. They played in the AFL. Apparently, reportedly, Jet Williams sprained his ankle, and that shouldn't be a big injury or whatever, but he sprained his ankle. If Alonso leaves, who plays first base? To me, if Alonso leaves, who plays first base is going to be Mark Vientos. That is going to be my first baseman. And then hopefully you can have Ronnie Mauricio play third base and Luis Angel Acuna play second base. This is like my dream infield right now. This is like my dream infield. I want Ronnie Mauricio to play third. I want Acuna to play second. I want Lindor obviously at short, and I want Vientos at first base. That's my dream infield. I don't know if you guys like that, but I think Ronnie is going to be a big part of the Mets, man. He is a big part of the Mets, and Vientos has solidified his spot in the foundation with the New York Mets, and he is going to be a New York Met. He is going to be either your third baseman, your first baseman. So right now, David Stern sees him as the third baseman. So, what does that do for Ronnie? What does that do for Acuna? I don't know. Because Ronnie could play second base as well. And so we will see. But what I will say is the Mets, they got to get better. And hopefully they will. And I've heard they've been interested in Alex Bregman as well. I don't know if there's really any truth to that. But Alex Bregman, to me, it doesn't look like Alex Bregman wants to sign with the Astros back. And I don't know if the Astros are willing. They offered him a $160 million contract deal for 5 years or something like that, but he didn't take it. He wanted $200 million. So he wants more money, and maybe he doesn't end up with the Astros. But I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day, man, to watch me on, this Tuesday night. I really do appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Yamid is saying Gilbert plays 2023, 2024 in AAA. Nothing left to prove there. Well, what I will say in 2024, he missed most of the season. He missed most of the season in AAA. So I agree, though. I don't want him to be in AAA, back in AAA. I think I would love him to be a part of the roster in their major league roster in 2025. We will see. I hope that they will do that. I hope. There's a lot of options that the Mets have. It's not like you have to make a trade for or you have to sign Alex Bregman. You have to sign Christian Walker. I don't feel they have to sign Alonso. I don't think that they have to sign him. I think if you get Alonso on a friendly deal, then great. That would be lovely. I would love to see Alonso on a friendly deal. Maybe a 3-year deal, at best 4-year deal. But if you're going to go farther than that, if you're going to go 4 years, you're going to go 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, to me, that's too much for Alonso. I just don't think that he's going to age well. I don't think that he's that good anymore. I really don't feel that Pete Alonso is that much of a good player anymore. And it kind of is what it is. It kind of is what it is. His exit velocity is going down year by year. So we will see what happens. But I'm happy that the Mets are having conversations. They're having discussions. It's lovely to hear that the Mets are interested in Garrett Crochet, that the Mets are interested in Sasaki, that the Mets are still interested in Sean Manaea, because there's options here. There's definitely ways. According to SNY TV Crew, the Mets received Garrett Crochet. White Sox received Drew Gilbert, Acuna, Kevin Parada. Is that going to get the deal done? I don't know. But yeah, you guys are probably right. They might have to give up Drew Gilbert in this deal. If they do give up, if they really do want Garrett Crochet, they're gonna have to probably give up Drew Gilbert. Apparently, Spencer Horwitz is going to Cleveland in the Andres Jimenez deal. It's weird because a lot of people want to give up Mauricio. A lot of people want to give up Acuna. They don't want to give up both, but I don't know. I don't know what happens there. But yeah, guys, we've been live for an hour now. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna get some dinner. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed, this live. I appreciate you guys watching. You guys are awesome. Like I said, thank you for taking the time out of your Tuesday night to watch me. If you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe. Definitely, we are, keeping the latest on the Mets news. And yeah, man, you guys are awesome. Have a great one. Stay, stay hungry, man. When it comes to these Mets, man. I'm very, very excited about the Mets' future. Very, very excited. I am so I can't wait till you see Juan Soto, the official deal. And I think that the Mets are not done. The Mets are not done yet. So we will see what happens. But I really do like what I'm hearing from David Stearns, I'm hearing from the Mets. So you guys are awesome. Have a good one. Enjoy your Tuesday night. And yeah, let's go Mets.